Welcome to Freshman Film Room. With 7 incoming freshmen, the UMass basketball team has plenty of unknowns this season, and in this series, we're going to try and explore those unknowns through film breakdowns of each of the incoming freshmen. We'll analyze some strengths and weaknesses that shine through in the film, as well as suggest how each player could fit into the team and try and project forward as best we can. Each breakdown comes from a sample of 5 or 6 games from each player's last high school season, but it's important to stress that I am not a scout. I'm just trying to give a glimpse as to what sort of players each of these guys might be. It's not a definitive scouting report, just a primer ahead of the season. Today, we'll start with Sean East. A 6'3" guard out of Combine Academy in North Carolina, East was a bit of a late bloomer as well as a late arrival. He didn't have any offers before his prep year at Combine, and the only offers he had this spring were from Mercer, Fordham, and UMass, eventually signing with the Minutemen in May. East is a point guard who does a lot of things well. He looked pretty comfortable bringing the ball up and initiating the offense at Combine, and he showed flashes as an above-average playmaker. He's a really good passer with great court vision both in the half court and in transition, and generally strikes me as a good decision maker on the offensive end. He'll single-handedly break a press with a pass from time to time, and he's got the quickness and vision to collapse a defense and find an open shooter. His drive and kick ability led to a lot of open shots for his teammates and let him rack up the assists during his prep year. Part of the reason East can drive like that is because defenses have to respect his ability to shoot from outside. East shot 43% from 3 last season, especially impressive because of how often he had to create his own shot. He can knock down catch and shoot threes, sure, but he's become increasingly comfortable shooting off the dribble, and he can hit step back threes that force defenders to try and play him tight, opening up those opportunities to drive. East's ability as a shooter elevated him as a scorer last season, and he averaged 20.2 points a game in his prep year. East is also a strong finisher around the rim. He uses his body well and finishes through contact, and he's also got a nice little left-handed floater in the lane that serves him well and falls more often than not. His finishing is especially impressive in transition, as he creates and finishes off fast break opportunities all the time. He's very much not afraid to push the ball in transition and is constantly taking outlet passes and driving down court to get his speed into the game. Even off an opposing basket, East will take the ball from the inbounder and take off before the defense can get set up, creating a fast break opportunity where there shouldn't be one. And while he's aggressive, East can also be patient. Watch here as he uses the screen and waits for the play to develop, finding a shooter for a wide open 3. I also want to highlight one intangible. In the big games against nationally ranked opponents last season, East showed up. 21 points and 5 assists against IMG Academy, 33 points, 11 assists and 8 rebounds against Hargrave, 17 points and 9 assists against Woodstock, you may have heard of them, all ranked in the top 10 when they played Combine, and East showed up each time. Now, on the flip side, my main concern about East is on defense, specifically with how engaged he is on that end. Sometimes he just doubles like he does here at a bad time, and he and his team get punished. Clips like this one are worrying, as he sort of just lingers in the paint as the ball rotates to an open shooter, and he's fortunate that it doesn't go down. This play is just sort of a mess for everyone involved, but one way or the other, East gets lost and the result is an open 3. You might notice that all of these clips are from the same game, and I think it's possible he just had a bad day, because I can't find that many examples from other games where he just gets lost. There are some like this one where he just sort of makes a business decision, and he can look like he's just going through the motions at times, but that might have just been a particularly rough game. It's not all bad. He can be a solid on-ball defender, and sometimes those gambles can lead to steals and fast break opportunities. He'll probably have plenty of steals for UMass next season, though perhaps at the expense of some blown assignments. Defense aside, I think East has some room for improvement with his shot selection. While he can hit those step-back threes, he does occasionally get overly ambitious as he does here, settling for a deep 3 when he has a switch and a mismatch. He can also get a touch overly aggressive in transition and get a bit out of control, but that's something you'll take with the easy buckets he gets on the break. So, let's recap. There's a lot to like about Sean East. He's comfortable running an offense and is an above-average passer, he can create his own shot and is a good shooter from deep, and he can get to the rim and finishes well inside. He tends to make good decisions on the offensive end and has great speed and vision in the open court and in transition. He's also impressed against the best competition he faced and shows up as a big game player. He does, however, need to shore up his defensive engagement, with the caveat that the defensive showing against IMG may have been a blip. His shot selection can be occasionally questionable, and sometimes he's almost too aggressive for his own good in transition, leading to the occasional turnover. I'm actually going to throw out 2 more positives that we didn't look at in the film. First of all, Everything I've heard about East is that he plays with an edge, and that's the sort of thing that Matt McCall really loves. He also played plenty of press defense at combined, something the Minutemen will almost undoubtedly break out under McCall and Tony Bergeron this season. So that's Sean East. Of course, we never know how much someone will contribute and develop at the next level, but if I had to guess, I think East's ceiling this year is the starting point guard role. I doubt he'll have it on day one. I think McCall will probably roll with the experience of Keon Clergeot early on, but East absolutely has the raw tools to make an impact in the A10, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was the guy lining up next to Carl Pierre in the backcourt before long. Thanks for watching. You can follow the Collegian on Twitter at MDCollegian and at MDC_sports, and myself at Amin_Tori, and make sure to check out all of our content at dailycollegian.com. This has been Freshman Film Room. Next week, we'll cover TJ Weeks.